So when do you know that it's time to change your goals? Like, I mean, do you continue, because it's something that you really, really want to achieve? Is it really time to change it? Like,
Mm. Wow, that is like a $1 million question.
when do you know it's not for you, or is there such thing, or are there things that are not really meant for you?
You're listening to Article and Design Podcast, the podcast made with love for Filipino freelancers, small business owners, and digital agencies. I'm your host, Margaret Lopez. I'm a digital marketing strategist for over 8 years now, and I created Article and Design. Be part of our 1 million mission in transforming 1 million Filipinos to becoming a super freelancer and live the life and work they love. Join me as I sit down and discuss with our fellow freelancers and business owners about their process, their monumental screw up, and the tips that they swear by to help you win in this freelance game forever. This episode is brought to you by Kamagon Business Solutions. Kamagon Business Solutions is a Davao-based team that specializes in providing remote office assistance to businesses in various parts of the world. Unburden yourself from daily business tasks that are keeping you away from your goals. Hire a virtual assistant today. Check out Kamagon Business Solutions on Facebook and Instagram, or check out their website at kamagonsolutions.com. All right, guys, we're back with our guest co-host, Jen Obenza. So Jen Obenza is from Kamagon Business Solutions, and Jen has been a co-host of our previous episode called the No BS Productivity Tips. If you haven't listened to it, guys, check it out on our season 2 of this podcast. So Jen, how are you? We are so happy to have you back.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Margaret. Thank you for having me again. I'm happy to be here. And it's crazy to think that it's already February. I'm still as excited as when this year started.
Yeah, that's great to hear, Jen. So, Jen, what are we talking about today?
Yes, today we're going to talk about something that I really like to do and that I personally find enjoyable. We're going to talk about goal setting. Now, I know that a lot of you may think that it's already February, so isn't it a bit too late to set your goals? But honestly, when we talk about goal setting, it does not have to be done at the beginning of the year. It doesn't have to be on New Year's Day. For me, for us, you can set your goals anytime you want to or you need to, in the middle of the year, in the middle of project.
Yeah, that's true,
Mm,
Jen. I really believe that there's no like time or there's no correct time to start. Anytime you can start it, diba? Yeah.
right,
And why is goal setting so important, Jen? Like for me personally, I believe that goal setting is important because I believe that success doesn't happen by accident, diba?
right.
All the things that you achieve sa life mo, you're actually intentional about it. If not most of them, you're
Mm,
intentional about it. And I believe, Jen, this is really a powerful thing that every Filipino freelancer should learn the goal setting, the right kind of goal setting that will work for them.
yes, that's right. Yeah. So why are we talking about goal setting? Because, anyone can have a goal, anyone can make goals, right? But goals
Mhm.
are pointless if you don't put the how to it. I mean, the how will be your systems and your processes, basically the steps that you're going to take
Mm.
to achieve the goal. A lot of us, we like to have big, huge goals, epic goals, that
Mm.
only set us up to fail. Ambitious goals are good, but not if you lack the progress or if you don't work towards them.
And if I may add to that, Jen, goal setting is really important. And that's why it's important that you have a system for it. Because it is like your northern star, eh, diba? It's like your compass kung saan ka
Mm,
papunta.
right.
In your direction as a Filipino freelancer or your direction as a creative artist or whatsoever. As we've said in our previous episode, Jen, episode 19, the one that we discussed about the no BS productivity tips, diba? One of our tips is actually goal setting. You have to set your goals. That's why it's important that you have a goal because if you want to be really productive, you have to develop self-discipline. Eh? Because we said that self discipline is actually the most important thing that you have to develop in order for you to be productive. Because it's through your habits and routines kaya ka nagkakaroon ng productivity. And thus, goal setting is really important. So goal setting is like your compass, it's your northern star. So that's why it's really, really important that you have that one, set mo, and then you have a system for it.
So I guess the question now, Margaret, is how do you set yourself up to achieve your goals?
There are so many ways to achieve your goals, Jen. Jen and I came up with 7 actionable tips to hopefully help you guys achieve your goals. And also bear in mind that these are personal tips from us, okay? Because these are based on our experiences, di ba, Jen?
Right.
All
So
right.
feel free to tweak it as you like.
Yeah. And if ever you disagree on us, that's fine. Please tell us any of the
Cool. We're,
tips.
we're
Yeah,
cool with that.
yeah, we're cool with that. So tip number one, Jen, is reverse engineer your goals. I really, really like this term, Jen, reverse engineer. And I always do this kahit sa mga digital marketing strategies ko. I always tell my clients that we have to reverse engineer what we're going to do. So what do I mean by this in the aspect of goal setting? It only means that we have to begin with the end in mind, right? For example, you will think of your goal as iisipin mo, you have to visualize your best case scenario na kaagad. What do you really want? You have to
Mm,
start sa end. Eh. What do you really want? So, for example, in your career as a Filipino freelancer, for example, you wanted to become a 2D game designer, diba? Ganun. So, if you visualize mo na siya kaagad, so lalagay mo na dun sa goals mo, okay? I wanted to become a 2D game designer. If you can be as specific as possible, it's really better. For example, if you want to learn a new skill, for example, like me, I wanted to learn basic programming this year. Parang ganun. Gusto ko matuto how to work on Ruby on Rails. I had to write it down. So, yun ang gusto ko. For example, I wanted to learn basic programming. Parang ganun. At the end of this year, or whatever end is that, I wanted
mm.
to learn how to program using Ruby on Rails. You have to begin with the end in mind. Diba, Jen?
I agree with you, Margaret. So you really have to know what you want, and it has to be a specific goal, as specific as possible. And then we're going to start with that in mind, and then we will work our way towards it.
Yeah, that's true. So, guys, tip number one, begin with the end in mind or reverse engineer your goals. All
Yes.
right.
Tip number 2 is to be truthful and realistic about your goals. So, what do we mean by that? You have to set a goal that you know you can achieve. That's why we mentioned earlier that you have to set a very specific goal if you can. Decrease than increase. So, mas specific siya, mas targeted siya. And realistic. It has to be something that you know you really can achieve. I mean, don't set very epic goal that is going to just set you up for failure, right?
Yeah. In addition to that, that's why it's really good that you said that you have to decrease than increase. Kasi nga, you have to be truthful and realistic about this. Tanggalin mo na yung mga feeling mo, okay, unnecessary siya talaga. That's really interesting, Jen. So what do you say to people, Jen, who says na, hey, you have to dream big goals. You have to dream big. Di ba yung mga bata pa tayo, lagi sinasabi sa atin, Jen, dapat malaki yung pangarap mo. Di ba like yung mga, when I grow up, ganun. Pag sinasabi na, when I
Aim
grow up, I
high,
want
reach
to...
for the sky.
Yeah. So, what do you say to people, Jen, who says na you have to dream big goals? Kasi, di ba, we just said na, hey, you have to be truthful and realistic about your goals.
We're not saying that you dream small. I mean, if you can dream big, that's good. It has to be something realistic, actionable, right? Because specific goals are more actionable, more realistic. Because if you're going to come up with a goal that is too big, and then you don't have enough time to achieve that, so you're just setting yourself up for failure. That's what we mean by having realistic, truthful goals.
Yeah, I agree to that, Jan. Like, for example, sa akin, like, yung gumawa ako ng goal setting ko last year, so yung 2020, sinabi ko, kasi may napanood ako sa Netflix or Prime, Amazon, napanood ko yung parang Brittany Runs a Marathon. That movie. So I was not inspired kasi, di ba, like yung New York Marathon, yun parang number 1 marathon sa buong mundo pala. So na-inspire ako kasi parang she wasn't obese before, tapos naging goal niya talaga na mag-run ng marathon. Tapos at the same time, she lost a lot of weight. So na-inspired din ako. So sabi ko, ako kaya, gusto ko, one day kaya makaka-run ako ng marathon. Parang ganun. Kasi I never did that sa buong life ko. Parang ganun. So I was doing my goal setting. So sabi ko, okay, nilagay-lagay ko, sinusulat ko, run the marathon. Sabi ko gano'n. But then when I reviewed it, sabi ko, no, this is like impossible for me for the next 12 months or next 24 months. Hindi siya pwede for me kasi hindi siya aligned sa goals ko talaga at this point. Hindi pa siya ganun. Siguro, what I could do is to run a 5 to 10K.
Right. So you
what
just
do you call that?
parang build up on your goals.
Yeah. Exactly. Hanggang sa siguro, maybe who knows yan, di ba? Baka mapapulad lang ako, nag-run ako ng marathon, di ba? So, ganun. So
yeah, I guess that's what you mean, right? Like if you really want to run the New York Marathon, that's okay. I mean, that's a really good goal, but you have to take into account the time that you have to achieve that goal. So maybe if you're planning to run the New York Marathon in 12 months, do you think you will be able to do it?
Yeah.
Realistic dapat and truthful. Is it really something that I can do with the amount of time that I've given for this goal?
I really like this, Jen. I really like this tip kasi this tip can make or break your goals, no?
Yeah, it's crucial. Exactly. Yes, right.
Yeah, it's very crucial. Tip number 3, guys, is organize your goals into these aspects. This tip is, it will take a lot of, parang reorganizing talaga, regrouping. Okay, your mga goals. John and I came up with 7 aspects na category ng mga goal setting mo that this very important na kailangan meron ka nito. But guys, as I've said, whatever works for you. Kung isa lang dito ang gusto mo, then by all means, just do that. But yeah, we're suggesting 7 aspects ng life mo. Kasi when you set your goal, kasi it's your whole life dun di ba, John? It's holistically di ba? Kasali na lahat That's why we thought na these 7 aspects are the important things that you should look upon. So number 1 is spiritual or religious aspect ng goal setting mo, ng life mo. So ano ba yung gusto mong ma-achieve sa spirituality mo? If you're religious, ano ba yung gusto mong ma-achieve?
For example, if you want to, deepen your beliefs, or if you want to learn about another religion, for a lot of people, spirituality is really important. I think it's really, really important to set a goal in that aspect as well.
Yeah, that's true. So that's number 1. Number 2 is, of course, this is very important, Jen, ano? And I think dito tayo nag-focus talaga
Yeah.
Sa career natin. So, yeah, guys, if ako lang tatanungin, ang dami kong career goals Pero yun nga, tulad sa sinabi namin ni Jen sa number 1 and 2, you have to be really realistic about your career goals. Hindi pwede na, gusto ko maging ganito, gusto ko maging ganyan. Lahat na yung gusto mo maging But if kaya mo, diba, then do it. What we're trying to say here is, it has to be really as organized as possible and realistic sa time frame na gusto mong achieve. For example, career, ano bang gusto mo? Gusto mo maging media buyer, parang ganun. So, in paid ads, di ba? For example, Google ads or Facebook ads. Or gusto mo maging 2D game designer na of this year, so 2021, meron ka ng 5 clients around dun sa skill na yun.
Right.
Yung mga ganun. Those are specific goals din pa rin dyan eh. But what we did here sa step 3 is inorganize natin siya. Diba? Inorganize natin siya sa 7 aspects na yun. So yeah, guys, we can say a lot about career. I'm sure you guys too. Marami kayong pwedeng malagay dyan. But you get what we mean, diba? It has to be specific as much as possible and in line with the number 1 and 2 tips. Yeah.
Right, I agree. To add to that, when we talk about goal setting, parang automatic na it's about career talaga eh, right? Like I don't know, you don't hear a lot of people say, I will set a personal goal this year. It's always about career, which is great. It's something that everyone can relate to, but we want to highlight all the other aspects as well of goal setting para balance din naman yung goals mo, hindi lang puro trabaho for, forever.
Yeah. At saka, yun nga, one of the reasons kaya tayo na-burn out kasi nga, which is in line with number 3 aspect, is because we forgot about our emotional and mental goals. Diba?
Yes.
Jen and I totally nakaka-relate kami dito kasi we both experienced this one.
We keep forgetting about this one.
Yeah. I think that's a problem with workaholic people, Jen, no?
So you accept the fact that you are workaholic.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think, and hindi lang naman ako yung nagsasabi. I mean, most of the people who knows me, I think yun ang sinasabi sa akin eh. I'm a hardworking ox. I mean,
you're a machine.
I'm fortunate because I really, really love what I do. Kaya probably, hindi ako nagpuput ng breaks. But that is bad nga, diba? That's why we're discussing it right now. Kasi nga, without having breaks, Jen, it will leave you too burnt out, diba? Mababurn out ka talaga. Kaya nga, we have to organize our goals then, guys, into these 7 aspects, which includes the emotional and mental. Like for me, ano yung goal ko dito, sa part na to? Ang goal ko dyan is, I will have a solid break talaga.
I knew it. That was the goal. To have a break.
Yung solid break talaga dyan. Pag sinabi kong break, okay, wala talagang work, break talaga. Diba?
But can I reference something though? I read somewhere, it's a psychology book. It says that a lot of us, we think that we are, or I mean for you and me, I guess, like we think that we're so rational and then everything has to be planned out and, career oriented. But then we keep forgetting about the emotional part that, the book says that it's the emotion that puts value into what you do. So I guess that's why sometimes we feel burnt out because we, like parang, what am I doing? Is this still worth it? So kasi missing yung emotional part na hindi mo siya na-appreciate. So wala nang value yung ginagawa mo kasi puro trabaho na lang siya. That was a really good wake-up call, I guess. Because, I always tell people that, I have no time for emotions. It has to be like logical. Everything has to make sense. But everything doesn't have to make sense.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Jen, that's really true. Kasi nga, sometimes, but then napaburn out, parang, oh my God, what I'm doing is so mechanical na. O sige, successful ka nga, you've reached the amount of money that you wanted this month, pero, hala, na-burnt out ka, diba?
Right? Wala na siyang value.
Wala na siyang value. It's not because na hindi mo na-reach yung money na yun, but because, hey, there's something lacking eh. Babalik tayo sa, pinabayaan mo kasi yung emotional aspect ng life mo. Parang, hindi ka nagkaroon ng self-care. Alam mo yung gano'n? So, sometimes, guys, you just have to stop and smell the roses. Hey, do you want to become a super freelancer? A super freelancer is a highly paid, creative, happy, and globally competitive freelancer. If you want to become one, you can enroll in our Super Freelancers course, 21 Steps to Fast Track Your Freelancing Business. We will teach you how to create systems, automate some of your workload, and how to avoid the feast and famine situation of chasing clients after clients. So go to attainable.designcourses.com and use the coupon code PODCASTFRIEND to get your 400 pesos discount. This is exclusive to our podcast listeners only. So see you there. Please don't be like us before. Don't forget your emotional and mental health.
Burnout is the worst thing. Right? It's the worst feeling.
So Jen, given that we both agree na yun yung naging problema natin. So, how did you manage yung burnt out mo, Jen? Paano mo manage yun?
Yeah, just to, I guess, give you context,
Mm.
2019, I think, was the year. It was like in the middle of the year, not even towards the end. It was an event waiting to
Mm.
happen, because I've neglected it for so long. So I took on so many projects, because
Ah.
I thought, maybe that's the best thing, to keep working on several projects. And for a time, I enjoyed doing those projects until it came to a point that I could not find any value in anything, even like your most high paying project. Like it did not matter anymore. Like every day I was dreading, I don't know how burnout is for you, but for me it was like during nighttime, you're like, when the day is ending and you feel that, oh, the next day I'm gonna have to start this routine again. So it was like that feeling of dread that I did not want the next day to come, because it would mean that I would have to go through the same routine. It felt like a very horrible routine. And I felt like that for like 3 months, I think. I was just really neglecting it. I realized that I had to either I continue and get a nervous breakdown eventually, or I really have to do something about it. So what I did was, hindi ako nag-full break talaga, but I physically removed myself from I guess, the situation, or not the situation, but maybe it was just a change of location that helped me. So I booked a plane ticket to pre-COVID by ito. And then I went someplace for just a week. I was still working though, but it kind of gave me, I guess, like a different perspective on what I was doing, right? So I even planned, like, in the 7 day break, I'm going to do some personal projects that are totally unrelated to getting paid or something. But I did not get to do any of those. So I just really kind of enjoyed the moment I was away from the environment. Yeah, it was kind of like recalling, like, why am I doing this? Why did I take on so many projects? So it helped me appreciate the work that I do. Sometimes that's just really all you need to put or reintroduce value into what you are doing, I guess.
Yeah, I like it. I like what you said na you reintroduce value ulit. Parang babalik ka kasi sa reason for being mo diba? Kasi nga, nawala yung emotion Puro na lang parang nangyayari. Nangyayari kasi mechanical. Parang, hey, I have to do this, I have to do that. It's still mechanical, diba? What happens to mechanics, diba? Pag laging ginagawa, pwede din pumalya siya when you don't put a grease on it or lubricant, diba? In this case, yung grease and lubricant mo dun, it's actually your emotions diba? Para it's still gonna work so well, yung well-oiled machine.
Yeah, very self-care, machine care.
Diba? Oo. Yeah, that's really true, guys. Ito talaga yung aspect ng goal setting na kinakalimutan natin kasi we thought na we're so excited, I'm so amped. I mean, ang dami kong gusto ma-achieve. Yeah, let's go for it. Pero guys, nakakalimutan natin yung side na to diba? Which is really, really, has a really huge impact sa overall na performance mo. Number 4, guys, is financial. Wow. So, isa sa favorite ko rin doon dyan, diba? Because it's the reason why we work then I mean, let's be honest. Come on. Financial. So, what are your financial goals? So, you have to be specific then. Bakit siya importante talaga? Kasi ganito. For example, like, in my case, when I was, yung bago pa lang ako na freelancer, so sabi ko, I have to set this X amount. Alright, let's say, let's put a number ngayon. So, let's say 1 million pesos. Sabi ko, by the end of this year, or by after 12 months, kailangan ko ng 1 million pesos na-earn ko dito sa aking freelancing career. So, ang ginagawa ko, every 3 months or every payout or every mag-check ako ng expenses and taxes ko or profit and loss, kumbaga. So, sinacheck ko how much more pa yung kailangan ko towards that 1 million pesos. Diba? So, if I feel like, okay, kailangan ko pa, parang sobrang hindi maganda yung performance ko at this month, so kailangan ko pa siguro mag-add ng isang client or whatsoever, so nag-add ako. Tapos, the next month, sobra na, 1 million na naman yung goal ko, diba? It's very important that you have financial goals because it's either you will have a 1 million or wala kang 1 million diba? So
yeah, you have to put a number. So don't just say, I want to get rich. You have to put a number.
Yeah. You have to put a number doon towards the financial goals talaga.
Realistic number.
Yes, exactly. Realistic on that. So, yeah, that's number 4. And number 5, Jen, is physical. Ano ba yan, Jen? What's physical aspect, Jen?
To me, it's just being physically fit. It's very important for freelancers. I think we talked about this in the previous podcasts. I think the first one we had. That you have to set some time to work out, exercise, or if you're not a workout person, just move. Because as freelancer, especially if you're like a virtual freelancer, you're always on your computer. So yeah, even that is, I think it's also an important aspect you also have to set a goal. If you want to have abs, go for it. If you want to have clear skin, go for it and sleep early. Or if you want to improve your cardio or whatever. I don't know about you. What's your
Yeah.
physical goal?
Well, yeah. I guess yung physical goal ko is I wanted to lose weight. I mean,
Mm,
I don't know, in the next 24 months or whatsoever. So I wanted to lose weight because I think I believe I've been binging on
same.
food for the past many years. My goal physically is I wanted to lose weight, make 10,000 steps per day or 5 kilometers a run per day.
I saw your challenge.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's great.
Paradigm shift challenge. And yeah, and it's really good kasi yung paradigm shift challenge na yun dyan, until na ginagawa ko siya. Oo.
So you've built the habit now.
Yeah, I built the habit now. Because that's the point of that challenge, guys. So guys,
Yeah.
watch out for the paradigm shift challenge dun sa ating Facebook group. Because it's
I
really
should join next time. I did not get to.
Yeah.
I think I came across it in the middle of the
challenge.
siya. Yeah, so I want to be there when it starts.
Yeah, don't worry. There's one coming ngayong year. So yeah, I will
Okay.
tag you. So yeah, sa akin, it's probably losing weight. And then yun, to have more steps. Talaga. Kasi we're freelancers. Diba? We're always working sa
Right.
desk.
Mhm.
So guys, whatever your physical goals, sabi ni Jan, it could be like a better skin, diba? Or physical din yung parang get like at least 8 hours of sleep din dyan, diba? Or,
Yeah.
because that's for your body, diba?
I want to make that a goal this year.
Whatever your physical goals, guys, it has to be specific then. You know,
Yep.
ganun sabi ko.
Yes.
It has to be specific. So write that down. So number 6, Jen, this is the marital or relationship, parental if you have kids, or let's say self relationship, diba? Relationship mo sa self mo.
Yes. Yeah.
Aspect ng goals mo. So what is your marital goals ba? We don't know with you guys. Probably you wanted to propose girlfriend or boyfriend mo this 2021, or you wanted to get married, or you wanted to have baby, si mga ganun, diba? So, kasali din siya eh. Kasi bakit? Kung nagkakaroon ng big change kasi sa ganito na aspect ng life mo, maaapektahan yung career mo, maaapektahan yung...
Mm-mm.
So, it's also very important that you set a goal towards this aspect then. I mean, within this aspect. For example, ano ba to? If you wanted to have a deeper relationship sa family mo, for example, in the past 5 years, na-realize mo na I've been not spending sa parents ko time with them. So, and they're not getting younger, diba? It's my goal na at least once a month talaga spend time ako sa parents ko. Parang something like that. It has to be aligned then. If you have a partner or you have a special someone, your goals will be aligned then or tied sa goals din ng partner mo as a family unit or whatever, diba?
Yes, I think it's also important to set a goal, like in relation to, for example, if you have a family or again a partner in life, right? So set aside goals for that as well. Because besides, your personal goals in a relationship, so we understand that some goals have to be set along with like your partner's goals. It's more of like the emotional level ng relationship.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So guys, number 7, which is the last 7 aspects ng ating goal setting is social. Syempre Jen, we're humans, diba? So we need social life, is it? Diba? So what do we mean by this, Jen? Organize your goals sa social life mo.
Ako, personally, I'm an introvert, so I kind of thrive in the environment that does not require a lot of social interactions. But, sometimes you feel that it's helpful if you have a community at least, or, it doesn't have to be like a huge community, like a few people that you can relate with. So, if this year or if you want to make a goal of maybe deepening your relationship with your friends or building a community where you're at, let's say if you move to a new location and you want to build like a small community, so, you can also set goals around that.
Yeah, that's true. There are the people naman dyan na they thought na, okay, sobrang dami ko ng friends and nagiging distraction siya sa akin. So, pwede ka din magbawas, guys, if gusto mo.
Right. I mean, it's something that not everyone talks about, but it's actually, I think it's a form of self-care. I mean, you have to identify or recognize that some social relationships are not helpful, I guess. Healthy is the right word, yeah. So, if that's a goal, if you want to cut out people from your life because they're too toxic, so
then do it.
Okay, so now that we talked about the 7 categories when setting your goals, so the next question is, how do we achieve those goals? So tip number 4 is to create habits and systems around those goals. Earlier, we said that your goal has to be specific. It's important for it to be specific because the steps you're going to make they have to align to that, right? I mean, you can't just say, I want to be rich in like 12 months. So, like, how are you going to create the steps towards that? Right. So if it's a specific goal, like I want to have 1 million by the end of this year, then at least your goals will be specific as well. So how do we do that? All right, so tip number 5 is to write the systems in achieving your goal and then you put them into categories. Basically, yung category lang dito is short-term or long-term goal ba siya. Let's say it's a financial goal, personal finance. You want to build an emergency fund in case in the future, if may mga medical emergencies, then you're going to be financially prepared for it. So that is the long-term goal, right? So I want to be able to afford any medical emergency. So that's a specific goal for the future. You have to create a system, right? So how do we do that? If that is a long-term goal, you break it down to short-term goals. So let's start with a 12-month goal, right? So for this year, how much money would you like to raise for your emergency fund? So let's say a figure is 1 million pesos for 12 months. If you think about it, 1 million pesos is a lot of money for many Filipinos, right? And it can be really daunting. Like, how am I supposed to get to 1 million when I'm only earning this much every month? How are you going to set yourself up for success? So you break it down further into short-term goals. So let's say you break it down into a quarter. So every 3 months, you have to raise at least 250,000
Yeah.
get you to the 1 million mark at the end of the year. So these 250,000 for a lot of people, it can be still it's still a huge amount of money, but it's not as big as like 1 million. The first 3 months since you started that goal, so you only focus on 250,000. Don't think too much about 1 million. That's so far ahead of me. So just 250,000, and then when you reach the end of the first quarter, then you check. Did I reach my goal? If you did not, then you reassess your goal, right? So maybe I need to put in more money every day or maybe get more clients so I could raise this much amount of money every quarter. So that's it. So that's also kind of like giving yourself a deadline and then along the way. Because if your deadline is in 12 months pa, so that's like how human nature is like, I have 12 months pa naman eh.
Tagal pa yun. So,
Right? I'm gonna start saving maybe on the 11th month. Which is really, really tempting, right? So it's important to create short-term goals para hindi ka masyadong mag-slack off din, especially if planning for a long-term goal.
And I wanted to point out that we also discussed that's episode 19 natin, yung Nobia's productivity. Like tulad ng sinabi mo din na if you're really overwhelmed to create like a 1,000 word article, so start with like 100 muna, diba? Until na maka-achieve ka na to 1,000 word article. Yeah, it's really good, Jen. It's so actionable talaga. And I really like that you really laid it down paano namin gagawin.
Yeah, get your 1 million by the end of this year, okay?
So that's 4, 5, and 6 tips, guys. So it's create habits and system. 4, 5 is write the systems, and then 6 is you need to give yourself a deadline. Sabi ni Jen, it's really important. Aside from putting a number, a figure to it, you have to put a date. I really like it, Jen. Woo! So guys, challenge 1 million pesos.
50,000 na lang.
Oh my God, kasi realistic and truthful daw, di ba?
Yes, exactly, right? This is what we were trying to tell you. Like, if you think you can't reach 1 million, if you think you're just going to get frustrated at the end of the year kasi 25,000 lang yung kinaya mo. So don't put 1 million as your goal, right? Put 25,000.
Oh naman, di ba? I mean, to each his own, di ba?
Right. Be truthful and be realistic.
Exactly. So our seventh tip, guys, is don't focus on how far you're going, but how far you've come. Diba, Jen?
Yeah. So this is kind of like the emotional aspect of goal setting, right?
Yeah. For example, yung 1 million goal mo. So, diba, we have divided into a quarter. So that's 250,000, diba? So after 3 months, chinek mo, okay, 100,000 yung naipon mo. Hindi 250,000. So sasabihin sa self mo, okay, even if hindi mo na-achieve yung 250,000, parang, wow, pwede mo siyang kasing gawin na, wow, nakasave ako ng 100,000.
Right.
Diba, Jan? And you still have 3 quarters to work around it eh. Work around the deficit mo ng 150,000 from the first quarter. Don't focus on how far you are going, but how far you've come. right?
Yeah,
So,
celebrate small wins. So, Margaret, aside from the 7 tips that we mentioned, do you have any, like a personal tip, something that works for you?
I do have na feeling ko hindi siya, ano ba tawag na dyan? Unpopular opinion. Parang ganon.
Mm,
Parang unpopular opinion siya, or probably not most of the people will agree sa akin. But this is very personal nga, and this is based sa personality ko din, kumbaga. So,
mm,
ang aking tip is, if I have a personal goal, I'm keeping it to myself. Okay? Saka ko na lang
mm,
siya ina-announce pag nagawa ko na siya. Parang ganun. Diba? For example, nag-send off ako ng Twitter, in 3 months, I'm gonna lose 10 pounds or something ganun. Instead of
mm,
posting that way, I'm going to post like, thankfully, finally, I've lost 3 pounds after 3 months. Parang ganun.
mm.
So,
So once you've done it
once I've done it,
already.
saka ko na lang siya ina-announce. Kasi bakit? Para sa akin kasi, based on my experience, whenever I announce things, yung personal to guys like losing weight, learning the piano, yung mga personal to eh. Kasi when we talk about like yung mga business, it's another thing eh. Kasi you need to
Yeah.
have community din, diba? Like yung
Mm,
sinabi natin. So this is very personal. You know, like for example, losing weight. You know? So, ang napansin ko kasi sa akin dyan, yung when I wanted to finish the HIIT insanity workout, kung familiar ka doon.
mm.
So it's a 60
I
days
love hit.
Yeah, diba? Pero yung insanity
Unpopular
is like,
opinion.
exactly. Diba? I know why you like it. Kasi in a short span of time, diba,
Yeah, I
natapos mo
know,
siya.
I know.
Diba?
Anyway.
Anyways, so, yun nga, based on my experience, whenever I announce something, for example, nag-announce ako na sa blog ko before, like way back many years ago. Nag-announce ako na, hey, I'm doing HIIT. Yun, starting day 1, so sabi ko, report ako every now and then. Sabi ko sa HIIT. After
Mm,
2 weeks, wala na, hindi na ako motivated kasi bakit? Nagkaroon ako ng premature sense of completeness. Kasi in-announce ko na. Alam mo yun? In-announce ko na, I'm doing
mm,
HIIT. Parang, tapos every week, ano ako dito, mag-update ako sa inyo. So, kung feeling ko, the moment na in-announce ko na, tapos ko na. Alam mo yung ganun? So,
I get it. I get it.
yeah, I don't know with you guys, no? But that happened to me many times. Yung ganun. So, hindi ko siya natapos. But nung hindi ko siya in-announce, nagsimula ako ulit sa HIIT. Kasi 60 days yun dyan, di ba?
Mm.
Nagsimula ako ulit sa HIIT. Nagawa ko siya nung hindi ko siya in-announce. Alam mo yung ganun? Yeah, that's why I said, in my personal goals, yung very personal sa akin, hindi ko siya ina-announce. I'm just keeping it to myself. Ganun. Tapos, probably whenever I've done it, saka ko na lang siya ina-announce.
You want to be responsible for your own progress, I guess. Because, I think partly when you tell other people about your goals, parang you get validation kasi, oh wow, she's gonna lose weight in like,
Mm.
6 months. So
Mm.
we're rooting for you. So, yeah, I think I understand. Like you have like a false sense of accomplishment just by getting validations that you are setting a goal.
Yeah.
Right. So, but when
Oo.
you don't announce it, like you have nobody else to turn to but yourself, so you can actually get more things done because you're
Oo.
right. Is that right? Am I getting it correctly?
Yeah, that's true. And yun nga, tulad sinabi ko sa akin, this is very personal kasi this
Mm,
is not working for everyone. Kasi I know someone na
mm,
whenever she wanted to lose weight or may whatever goals siya sa kanyang fitness journey, she wanted to post it. Kasi parang mas feeling niya accountable siya kasi nilagay niya doon, di ba?
yes, yes.
So, yun nga, it depends kasi sa'yo. But for me,
Parang I'm
ganun.
putting it out here so everyone will
Yeah.
know and I will be reminded of that works, I guess, as well. But now that you mention it, I think I'm kind of like that too. I mean, we're hardly ever loud about our goals anyway, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
I guess it's more of like a personality thing.
I know.
But
Oo. Nice.
yeah,
Oo. I mean, it's more personal naman. But when it comes to business, disclose it naman. Because we have a community, diba? Something like that.
right. That's
So,
great. That's a great tip.
yeah, so ano sa'yo dyan? Yung personal tip mo na nag-work sa'yo?
Mine is I like the idea of creating a mood board, a visual board or visual guide, I think.
I think they call it like vision board.
A vision board. Yeah, yes, I
Oo.
think that's what it's called. So I'm pretty sure you're familiar with vision board, but in my experience, what I do, so let's say, last year, 2020, a friend and I, we were planning to hike the Everest base camp. For my vision board, you just get photos from the internet. Not recommended, at least royalty free. But basically, you just create like a vision of your goals. If you're visual like me, so I like having to look at photos of my goals. to keep me on track. Post it on the wall beside my workstation. So I look at it every once in a while. And then what I do to prepare for that, we were supposed to hike several mountains in the Philippines and then in another country before we actually hike, the big hike. So what I did was we were able to fortunately hike at least a couple of mountains before the pandemic happened. So I created this is not necessary, okay, but I created a stamp that said done. So when I'm done with that goal, I stamp it with that. So it's very satisfying to see that, okay, I've done 2 out of, like, say, 10 mountains, for example. So that's just a way of, me keeping track of my goals. And then it's always good because I mean, I can always look at it and I remember what I'm supposed to do.
Oh.
So there, it helps me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so nice, Jen, kasi it's so visual eh. Kasi diba, people are visual people, humans talaga. We're visual people talaga. And it's so good na, like sinabi mo na nakikita mo siya next to your desk ba or whatsoever, nakikita mo siya.
Yeah.
And then it will, okay, parang productivity, ano din siya dyan eh. Cue na parang, okay, pag may ginagawa kang iba, uy, nakita mo biglang yung visual board mo, hey, hindi pa siya aligned.
Like, I'm not supposed to be browsing through. I'm supposed to be working out.
Yeah, diba?
So, right, like if you have like a fitness goal. So what I did after, because I had to change my plans, of course, last year. So let's say now my vision board looks like, or before, because I'm still about to create for, I don't know, I'm not supposed to say that because it's February na. So let's say if you have a goal to be fit, and then if you want to save a certain amount for emergency fund. So, pwede mo siyang, basically, visual representation lang siya ng goals mo. So, say 1 million there, put it there, 1 million. Or you want to be debt-free this year, so put debt-free. And then, if you want to be fit this year, then put a photo of a person that's fit or whatever.
I like it. May effort talaga, ha?
Diba? Diba?
Oo.
I mean, you have to enjoy it at least, right? If you're going to set up your...
Oo. But I get the satisfaction sa Dawn's topic. Kasi bakit? Going back to 7th tip natin na, you have to focus on how far you've come eh, not how far you're going at. So, yun nga, nilagay mo na siya na, okay, tick na to. So, wow, di ba? You celebrate small wins eh.
Right, right, yes, that's right.
Yeah, that's really good. I like it. Sige guys, what's working for Jen is yung vision or visual board. I think it's really powerful talaga. It's really powerful. So, if you guys are not doing it, well, we suggest you do it.
So, but yeah, again, whatever works for you, whatever helps you achieve your goal.
Yeah.
Do it.
All right. So those are our 7 tips, guys, on how to achieve your goals as a Filipino freelancer or a creative individual. So I'm just gonna run through Jen and also 7 tips natin. Number 1 is you have to reverse engineer your goals. So what does it mean? You have to begin with the end in mind. So you have to know what you really wanted to end, and then because we're gonna work towards that goal, diba? So number 2 is be truthful and realistic about your goals. So this is very, very important that we have to be specific about things na, okay, is this truthful ba? Kaya ko ba itong gawin? Realistic ba to in whatever time that you decided to do it, diba, to accomplish it? Number 3 is organize your goals into the 7 aspects or 7 categories that we mentioned. Spiritual, career, emotional, financial, physical, relationship, and social. So bakit? Bakit importante yung 7 categories na yun? Kasi each and every one of categories na yun is actually related to overall performance mo as a person. Diba? Then number 4 is create habits and system and how to achieve that goal. So what's the point in setting goals if you don't have a system how to do it?
Yeah.
So the goal is pointless if wala tayong system on how to do that one, achieve that one. Number 5 is, of course, you have to really write the systems on how you achieve it and have to categorize them into long-term and short-term. Then para hindi ka maging overwhelmed, sabi ni John. Like, for example, if it's a 1 million, categorize it into 3 months. I mean, you have to separate it into 3 months. Like, for example, 250,000 every quarter. Ganun siya. And of course, number 6 is you need to give yourself a deadline. Like sabi ni Jan, ano ba yun? Yung 1 million, you wanted to earn it after 12 months. Diba? You have, aside from putting a number, you have to put a date to it. Then, kasi pag wala kang date kasi, okay, so basta, ang goal ko na talaga 1 million. So, ano ba yan? After 10 years? Diba? And number 7, guys, is, of course, don't focus on how far you're going, but how far you've come.
And again, as with our previous tips in the previous podcast, you don't have to follow every step. You can tweak it as you like, whatever works for you, whatever helps you achieve your goal, then you do it your way, right?
Yeah, true.
Now we've talked about, all these steps on achieving your goal, how to do it. But the question I have for you, Margaret, is how do you manage frustrations when it comes to achieving your goal? Like, sometimes things don't go your way, right? Like there are goals that you can't really achieve. Like you feel that you've done everything, but you really can't achieve this goal. So how do you manage that?
I think, guys, it is very important na you have to go back to the reason why you're doing it eh. Bakit mo ba siya ginagawa? Bakit mo pa gusto ma-achieve yung goal na yun? Or bakit mo pa ginagawa tong career na to? Parang ganun. So you have to go back to your why. Diba?
Right.
You have to go back to your why, to the main reason bakit mo you're doing what you're doing now. So you have to go back to that why, and then you have to do a self-audit. Like for me, for example, of course, I'm not perfect. I wish I am. Diba? And then perfect is the enemy of done, diba?
Yes, yeah, I remember that for me.
Yeah. I mean, like, of course naman, hindi lahat natutupad, diba? Ganun naman diba? Because life happens, of course.
COVID happened.
Yeah, exactly. COVID happened like 2020, diba? Ang dami nating plans talaga na hindi talaga na materialize. Right? Yeah, I think that's a very good example, Jen. So, for example, nung COVID, 2020, nangyari yung COVID, diba? Ang dami kong personal goals or even business goals na hindi na nangyari. So, what I did is, syempre, nakaka-disappoint eh. Diba? Parang sinabi mo sa self mo na, okay, 2020 is my year ever. Alam mo yung ganun. So,
right. Yeah, that's what we say at the start of the year.
diba? Nakaka-disappoint kasi ang dami kong plans talaga na hindi na-materialize in 2020. So, ang ginawa ko, instead of course, syempre, I'm giving myself a permission to feel, bad about it. So, I felt bad, siguro a couple of days. I felt so bad, and nalungkot ako and everything. But then, you know what? Sinabi ko sa self ko, okay, bakit ko ba ginagawa to? Bakit ko ba ginagawa pa rin yung ginagawa ko? Ganun. So, I go back to my why. Bakit ko ginagawa to? And then, I did some self-audit. Parang ganun. So, okay, so anong nangyari? Ba't hindi siya na-materialize? Okay, nangyari kasi yung COVID. Okay, so that's something that I can control.
Right.
Hindi ko siya makontrol. So, according to the universal law of nature, diba? So, there are things na you can control, which is yung input mo. Diba?
Right.
Pero yung result nun, it may be desirable and undesirable. Diba? So, sabi ko, I just have to focus na lang my energy into something that I can control dito sa nangyari. So, okay, hindi matutuloy yung plan ko, specific plan ko because of COVID. So, ang ginawa ko, pinocus ko yung energy ko into something that I can control. Alright? So, parang gano'n lang. Yun nga, parang you have to go back to your reason why you're doing it, then you have to do a self-audit. Okay, ano bang pwede kong, kumbaga, I have to find a workaround lang.
So, when do you know that it's time to change your goals? Do you continue, because it's something that you really, really want to achieve? Is it really time to change it? Like,
wow, that is like a $1 million question.
when do you know it's not for you, or is there such thing, or are there things that are not really meant for you?
Well, how you approach that or how you answer that kasi dyan, it depends sa mindset mo eh. Diba? It depends sa mindset mo as a person. Like, if you question me na, do you believe ba na there are things na you're not meant to do talaga? Or na hindi mo kayang gawin? Ako, yung mindset ko kasi, I have adapted this mindset na whatever I wanted to do, if I would just invest time and effort to it, I will learn how to do it. Parang ganun kasi yung naging mindset ko.
Right.
It's about the mindset eh. So, like for me, if ganun ang mindset ko, and that's how I operate, hindi ako mag-give up eh. Until I reach it. So then I'm satisfied na saying myself, oh my God, I know how to program na.
Or this is where when you said earlier that you have to audit. Like, is there, are you doing the same things repeatedly, or do you think you have to try something else in order to achieve this goal? And then I guess the question of, is it time to let go of this goal? So that's when you go back to your why, right? Like, why am I doing this? Like, is it, is it because I just want to get paid more, or
yeah?
So you have to go back to the reason why you set this goal in the first place. Then if you find that, yung why mo it's not relevant to you anymore, right? Like, oh, it turns out that I'm just doing this because of routine. Like, it's because I set this goal early this year and I just want to do it, but it turns out your heart is no longer into it. So maybe it's time to change, right? So yeah. Okay, so
yeah. I just realized pala, there was this time sa life ka na, okay, I wanted to become, sabi ko, hey, I wanted to learn Photoshop or After Effects yung mga ganun. Kasi Adobe, parang ganun. Sabi ko ganun. I want to learn. Sabi ko ganun. So I tried doing it. So nag-install ako ng Photoshop or whatsoever. gumagawa ako, so nag-blur ako, nag-edit ako ng mga photos and whatsoever. Tapos, sinelf-audit ko yung self ko after probably like 6 months. Ganun. So, sabi ko, 6 months na, yun pa lang yung alam ko.
Right? So there are times when it's like that.
So sabi ko sa sarili ko, is it something worth pursuing? So, yeah, you're very correct. So, ang ginawa ko, bumalik ako sa why ko. So, why am I doing this ba talaga? Ba't ko ginagawa na, bakit ako nag-aaral ng Photoshop? Ano ba yung reason ko? Well, frankly enough, ang reason ko pala is, you know what, I just wanna show off na marunong ako sa Photoshop.
So that's a good exercise, right?
So I want to show off.
To that.
So sabi ko, you know what, this is not worth pursuing. I just want to show off. Come on, Margaret, you're better than that.
That's a great example, right? So you have to check your motivation. Or, I guess the reason. It's always the why. Like, right.
So I cut it off. Tinanggal ko siya. Okay, Photoshop is not part of my skills. Yeah, hindi siya kasama. Wala yung motivation ko, yung reason ko why am I doing it is not aligned talaga sa core value ko as a person.
Right.
Diba?
That's a great example. Yeah. But this is a great exercise, even not for the podcast, but it kind of helps you think about the goals that you've set that, like, sometimes, like you set a goal that you're very, very excited for. And then, for some reason, you really can't find the motivation. So I guess you go back to, like, why did you set that goal in the first place? Is it because everyone is doing it? Or is it because it sounds like a good idea to become this? Right? Because there are goals that you set for yourself around that. I mean, you cannot separate that. But there's this book called, it's Status Anxiety. Right? So it's like the premise is, when you focus on other people, that's when anxiety kicks in, because you see like, they're doing this, and then they're so good at it. Maybe they're earning more compared to you. So that's when the anxiety kicks in, and that will drive you to do things towards their goals that are not necessarily aligned to yours.
Exactly.
Right? So like, everyone's taking up low, I should take low. Right? So I can maybe like, be part of the very strong driver of, decisions. Like, because you want to be part of the community that does it.
Yeah.
So you have to go back to, like, am I really doing this to be part of that community? So, you just want to Photoshop because everyone is so good at Photoshop, for example.
Yeah. Kasi bakit, ano ba yung nangyayari doon? Kasi I was involved in like an American company before. Tapos like, nasa growth hacking team ako. Pagkatapos, most of the team that I'm with, marunong sila sa Photoshop. So sabi ko, hey, pwede na.
Kaya ko rin niya. Kung kaya nyo, kaya ko rin.
Hindi na ako alam. Kasi like, hey, I should know. So I started to go, matuto din ako. But you know what, it's not healthy. It's not healthy. Kaya pala, ang bagal nung progress ko. Kasi, alam mo yun?
You're in it for the wrong reason.
Yeah, exactly. It was parang, nagkaroon ako ng exactly what you call status anxiety. Everybody's doing it. I should do it. Alam mo yun, ganun.
It's a kick in the ass. Like, oh shit, this is exactly what I feel. So it's important to really go back to your why. You have to re-examine it. Like, am I still doing this for the clout? Like what the new generation says, clout.
Yeah.
Wow, Margaret, that was another great podcast session with you. It's funny to think that we always start our podcasts, thinking that let's, create something that our Filipino freelancers would benefit from, would learn from, but we always end up, learning from each other along the way.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And then, nag-enjoy din ako as much as you did. And I hope, and we hope na to all our listeners of these podcasts, they will learn a thing or two from us, and of course, at the same time, nag-enjoy din sila sa ating discussion about this one.
Yes.
I really like this topic, Jen. I really, really love this topic. Thank you so much again, Jen, for being our co-host, and we are looking forward for more episodes with you, ha?
Thank you, Margaret. It's a pleasure to be here.
So that's it for today, guys, and we will see you in the next one. Bye!
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the podcast. If you enjoyed this, please leave us a review on our Facebook page, Article and Design. Please also follow us on our YouTube channel called Article and Design for more tips on freelancing and business. And if you want to go to the next level, check out our courses at articleanddesigncourses.com. See ya!